Namaste everyone. Look into the eyes of a street dog in Delhi. What do you see? Perhaps a nuisance, a threat, or maybe, just maybe, a fellow living being navigating a complex world? Recently, India's Supreme Court weighed in on the lives of these very animals, and while their intentions were to ensure public safety, I want to challenge you today to consider, was this decision truly justified, especially when viewed through the profound wisdom of Dharma and our ancient Hindu scriptures? I believe there's a deeper truth and a more compassionate path we must explore.
Let's quickly recap. The Supreme Court, grappling with concerns over dog bites and public safety in Delhi, initially issued an order that sent shockwaves through animal welfare communities, a directive to round up all stray dogs and confine them to shelters. The idea was to clear the streets to ensure human safety. However, this initial ruling sparked a massive outcry, leading to a crucial revision. The modified order, a step in a more humane direction, now mandates that these dogs be sterilized, vaccinated, and then, crucially, returned to their familiar localities. Only those deemed rabid or incurably aggressive are to remain in confinement. On the surface, this seems like a pragmatic solution, balancing public health with animal welfare. But is it truly aligned with the ancient wisdom that has guided our civilization for millennia? Here's where Dharma enters the conversation. For us, in Hinduism, the relationship with animals is not one of mere utility or control, but of profound interconnectedness. At the heart of this lies ahimsa, the principle of non-violence, not just towards humans, but towards all living beings. It's a foundational pillar, teaching us to cause no harm in thought, word, or deed. Think about it. Every creature, from the smallest insect to the largest elephant, is believed to possess a soul, a spark of the divine. The cycle of karma and reincarnation teaches us that actions towards any being ripple through our own existence. Harming an animal isn't just an isolated act, it generates negative karma, impacting our own spiritual journey. Our scriptures, from the ancient Vedas to the Puranas, are replete with verses emphasizing compassion for all creatures. They speak of Bhutadaya, universal compassion. The Bhagavad Gita in particular emphasizes the spiritual equality of all beings. In chapter 5, verse 18, it states, "The truly learned, with the eyes of divine knowledge, see with equal vision a Brahmin, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog-eater." This profound verse reminds us that the soul within a dog is no different from the soul within a human or any other creature. Furthermore, Lord Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita 10:20, "I am the self, O Gudakesa, seated in the hearts of all creatures. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings." This reinforces the idea that the divine resides within all living entities, making compassion towards them a direct act of reverence towards the divine itself. When we see a dog, we are not just seeing an animal, we are seeing a fellow traveler on the path of existence, a being with its own consciousness, its own right to live free from unnecessary suffering. Now let's revisit the court's decision. While the revised order to sterilize, vaccinate, and release is certainly a step forward, the very act of mass capture, the stress, the fear, the disruption to their lives. Does this truly embody ahimsa? And what about the clause for aggressive dogs to remain confined? Aggression can be a symptom of fear, of past trauma, of human mistreatment. Is permanent confinement the dharmic answer, or is there a more compassionate path to rehabilitation and understanding? Dharma compels us to look beyond immediate convenience and consider the long-term karmic implications of our actions on all beings. So what could have been the alternative? What would Dharma suggest? For both the people and the court. Instead of a reactive approach, Dharma calls for proactive compassion and holistic solutions. Imagine a system rooted in 1. Community-based animal birth control programs. Not just sterilization, but humane, consistent, and widespread programs that prevent overpopulation without causing trauma. This is the essence of ahimsa in action, preventing suffering before it begins. 2. Responsible pet ownership education. Educating citizens on their role in preventing stray populations, from proper waste management to discouraging abandonment. This tackles the root cause, not just the symptom. 3. Fostering coexistence through community engagement. Creating designated, managed feeding points, educating children and adults on safe interactions with dogs, and promoting adoption. It's about building a society where humans and animals can thrive together, recognizing their shared space. 4. Rehabilitation over confinement. For truly problematic cases, exploring behavioral assessment and rehabilitation rather than immediate, indefinite confinement. Every being deserves a chance at a peaceful existence. These aren't just idealistic notions, they are practical, sustainable solutions that align with our deepest spiritual values. They acknowledge that our well-being is intrinsically linked to the well-being of all creatures around us. The Supreme Court's decision, even in its revised form, highlights a crucial question. Are we truly living by the principles of Dharma? Are we extending our compassion to all beings as our scriptures teach? The path forward isn't about eradicating street dogs. It's about fostering a society where coexistence is not just a dream, but a lived reality. It's about recognizing the divine spark in every creature and acting with the wisdom and compassion that our ancient traditions have always championed. Let us, as individuals and as a society, strive for solutions that uphold the sanctity of all life. For in doing so, we not only protect these innocent beings, but we also uplift our own humanity and our collective karma. Thank you.